So a little about NiceRide. So NiceRide is a bike share program, and this is our 4th year now that we've operated. So there are 170 stations like this one right here in Minneapolis and St. Paul that you can check a bike out from. And there are basically two ways that you use NiceRide. You can either buy a 24-hour subscription or you can buy an annual subscription. All right, so a lot of people come up and ask me, hey, how do I rent a bike for 2 hours, or how do I rent a bike for 3 hours or something like that? You can't use NiceRide that way. You either buy a 24-hour subscription or you buy an annual subscription. The 24-hour subscription costs $6. The annual subscription costs $65. It costs $55 for students. So the way NiceRide is meant to be used is once you have your pass, be it a 24-hour pass or an annual pass, then what that means is that you can use the system however you like. You can check out a bike from any of the 170 stations. You can check it back to any other station. So the bike doesn't have to go back to the place that you checked it out from. Okay, and you can do that as often as you like for no additional charge. But NiceRide is designed to be used for 30-minute trips. So as long as your trips are under 30 minutes on the bike, you're going to have no additional charge. But if you go over 30 minutes, it costs a little bit extra. So if you take a bike out for up to an hour, it costs $1.50. If you take a bike out for 90 minutes, it costs $4.50. And after that, it starts to get more expensive.
But
so
we're paying like $6 for 24 hours.
Right. So when you pay $6, what's happening then is that for 24 hours, you can check a bike out from any station as often as you like. But each individual trip on the bike should be under 30 minutes, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like how at a library, when you check out a book, right? It's free, but if you turn the book in late, they charge you late fees. That's essentially what's happening with the bikes here. And that's why we call it a bike share system, not a bike rental program. So we charge the fees to encourage people to check the bikes back in to make sure that there are bikes for other people to use. I was asked to talk about our maps and everything. So if you look over here, all the stations have on them a big map here that has all the stations closest to one that you're at. We also have pocket maps. So if you sign up for an annual subscription, we'll mail you a little map that has all of our stations in Minneapolis, St. Paul on it. But we also have a smartphone app if you have a smartphone, and it's called Spot Cycle, and that's one word. And it's actually pretty cool. What it'll do is it'll show you the stations that are closest to you, and it'll not only show you which stations are closest to you, but it'll tell you like how many bikes are there and how many empty spots are there. Yep, on the west side we're here at we basically are on Wabasha. We're on Wabasha Street, right by the Torre de San Miguel homes, and then right here we're also right next to El Burrito Mercado. We have a station, so that's great because everyone knows that place. The reason the system looks like this is we kind of have a core in downtown Minneapolis and a core in downtown St. Paul, and the other stations are kind of connecting those two core zones, basically, is the idea. So our whole system is connected. It's designed so that a station will never be more than a couple minutes away from another station, just because of the way we have the 30-minute limit. So we want to make sure that it's never a problem for someone to get to a station within that time limit. So there's a few things that we have to keep in mind when we're expanding. We have to keep in mind population density. We can't really expand very well into places where there's not high population density, just because then we won't have the number of people we need to support the system. We also find that our stations get used most when they're near destinations, so places people want to go. So somewhere like this, where we've got a library, a wonderful new library there, we've got food and businesses all up and down University Avenue, eventually light rail, so this is a good spot for NiceRide. So in more residential neighborhoods, it's a little more difficult for us to establish a presence there. So yeah, my actual position with NiceRide is I do community outreach. I work with community partners all throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul, and basically designed at making sure that anyone who wants to use NiceRide, who thinks that bike share system might be a good fit for them, can do it regardless of any sort of financial obstacles or things like that. So to that end, I've been partnering with lots of groups, nonprofits, public housing, and groups like Neighborhood House, to basically provide free NiceRide subscriptions for people who wouldn't be able to afford the $65 fee for an annual subscription. Yeah, as far as the bikes themselves, they use handbrakes to stop, so they don't use coaster brakes, so that's, if you push back on the pedals, that's not going to do anything. They have 3 gears, which you shift by grabbing the inside of the handle here. So the rule of thumb is the higher numbers mean it's going to be more difficult to pedal, but you're going to go faster. So if you're on flat ground, you probably want to be on 2 if you're going downhill, on 3, and if you're going uphill, 1. The bikes are all adjustable, and the way you adjust them is there's a little quick release lever here under the seat, so you pull that out, and then you can pull the seat up. You'll see that the seats have numbers on the post. So what that means is basically you figure out whatever height you like and you set it up there. And then that way when you grab a bike, it's just ready for you to go. You can just customize it to whatever your number is. That's more or less it. The only other thing is that you guys probably won't be able to see, but I'll try anyways. If I spin the front wheel here, you might see, lights on the back. There's also lights on the front. So that just means if you're riding at night, you're going to be visible and it's safe to ride at night.
So, okay, so like I'm way off the floor, I mean the ground.
Well, here, let me show you something actually.
I don't feel safe.
Here, let me show you something.
Okay.
That's actually the way you're supposed to sit on a bike. So
Really?
look, can I show you the way I sit on this bike here if you hop off for a second? So when I sit on the bike, my number is, it's a little over 9 is where I like mine. So we're a little different height, you and I.
Yes.
So this is where I like mine. So here I am on my bike, but you'll see my feet are not on the ground. So that's the way the bikes are meant to be used. The way when you stop the bike, what you do is you step forward, you're down, and when you start, you step back up. How to use this?
Process.
Sure. Yeah, actually. And actually, I can totally do that. And what I have here, which I'll give to everyone too, is I've got some free 24-hour subscription coupons. So I'll be able to do one of these right now so you can see how it works. So I'll come up here, hit rent a bike. Okay. Use my credit card. Okay, hello, Nate Hart Anderson. Please enter your telephone number. So I just entered my telephone number. Now they ask for a zip code associated with the card. So they tell me trip fees apply. We want to make sure that people know about the trip fees. So it says it all over here, and we actually make you say, yes, I understand. How many bikes do I want, it says. So I'm going to say 1. I want 1 bike. Now it says, do you have a coupon for a free trial? Yes, I do. So I hit yes. Please enter the code. Hit OK. Okay, so now it has my purchase summary. I hit OK. Okay, now it has the waiver. So there's a giant waiver here that you basically have to sign if you want to check out a bike. The waiver essentially says if I fall over on my bike, I'm not going to hold Nice Ride responsible, basically. So if you want to, you can click through it. There are 77 pages. I'm going to hit OK. Thank you for your purchase. Would you like to print your receipt? Yes. I like to document my financial transactions, even though I didn't get charged anything, so I guess I didn't really need it. So it's going to print my receipt, and it'll come out down here. This is my receipt, but this doesn't have my code on it, which is, I'm glad I'm showing you this actually, because this is something that confuses people. So now it says, do you want to print or view code? I'm going to print my code, because if I just view it, I might forget it.
Yeah.
And if I forget it, it's not the end of the world, but that just means I have to wait 5 minutes, and then I can swipe a card again and get a new code. Yep. So I believe it is printed off my code. So the code here is 1. Whoops, I just pressed it in wrong. So we'll try it again. 2. Come on. 2, 1, 3. Whoop. I'm going to try a different bike. 2, 1, 3, 2, 2. There we go. And now I've got my bike. So now that I've checked my bike out, now my 30-minute clock is running.